How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to dive into that Detroit Lions game that went on Saturday afternoon, and sorry this is going to be a day late upload, but we're going to go ahead and just dive right into whatever happened in that game. I mean, if you watched that game, or even if you just looked at the final score, you would know it was a rough game from the start, and there's going to be a lot of negatives in this video, but obviously just being preseason, nothing to worry about. And honestly, I think losing that game kind of helped me feel better about this season, because I don't know if you guys remember that season we went 4-0 in preseason, and then we lost every single regular season game and went 0-16. But now we don't have to worry about that, hopefully. So we're going to go ahead and dive in. Sorry if you hear any noises or anything, or if the audio is kind of bad. I am recording this while I'm in my car. So, like, I'm recording the audio. I mean, I'm driving, looking at the road, but I am talking as I'm driving. So if you hear anything weird, sorry. It's probably, if you live in Michigan, you know how bad these Michigan roads are. So let's go ahead and dive into some highlights. From the very beginning, it was just a disaster, to be honest. And you'll watch these highlights, obviously, and probably see what I'm talking about. But it was rough. It was a rough game for the Lions, and I'm going to go through a lot of takeaways. I really want to hammer down on Teddy Bridgewater. Obviously, he didn't really play that much, but I really want to talk about, because I didn't, in the Giants video last week, I didn't really get a chance to talk about him and what I think about that signing, because I do think that was a really good signing for us. But I'm going to talk about a lot of negatives, and then there's a couple positives. There's a couple players that had some really big games, and a breakout player that I kind of forgot about. You might have as well. That being Stephen Gilmore. So we're going to go ahead and talk about Teddy Bridgewater real quick. So back in April, I think it was the very beginning of April, I remember it was like spring break time, and I remember there was rumors that Teddy Bridgewater wanted to sign with the Lions, and I was all for it. I remember I was like, yes, we need, because when I looked at every position that we had, if you want to hear my honest opinion about how to win a Super Bowl, it comes down to depth, right? How much depth do you have? And I look at the Detroit Lions team, and I see all this depth. You look at running back, we got depth there. Offensive line, I thought we did, but after these few preseason games, I'm going to say no for offensive line. Our offensive line is not very good in the second team. So that no. But wide receiver depth, we got a lot. One of the best in the league probably. Tight ends, we got a ton. Defensively, you can go safety, we got a ton. Linebackers, we're starting to get a couple people emerging. Defensive line, all of a sudden, you look at the defensive edge spot, I mean, dang, we got a ton of guys. And then the interior line as well, we're starting to pack in some guys as well, with Levi Onwuzurike and Broderick Jones showing up. And then the cornerback spot is a spot I think we need to upgrade a little bit more. But now that we have Cam Sutton and Mosley plus CJ Gardner-Johnson as well, but he's more of a nickel safety, and then Starling Thomas and then Jerry Jacobs as well. So I mean, we got a ton of depth at really every position. Quarterback was the one spot that was like, you look at it, and if Jared Goff would have gone down for so this is what I really want to talk about, is what happens if Jared Goff goes down for 4 or 5 games, right? Because if Jared Goff misses 5 games, I don't think the season's over. If he misses 7 or more, well, I don't know. But now that we have Teddy Bridgewater, I have enough confidence at least, that if, let's say, Jared Goff went down for 5 games, I think Teddy Bridgewater is capable of leading us to a 3-2 record in those 5 games, which to me, that's above 500. That's perfect. And B, I mean, that right there, 3-2 for a backup quarterback, that's perfect. That's all we need. That's all we need from Teddy Bridgewater. And honestly, I think we all kind of hope that he never plays a single down. Maybe he plays a couple here and there. Jared Goff, goes to the sideline for a bit, or maybe we're blowing out the Chicago Bears by 30 points like we did last year. But honestly, the less snaps that Teddy Bridgewater takes, the better, because that means we pay him less, and that means that Jared Goff stays healthy. So let's hope that he doesn't see the field. But having a guy like him in case Jared Goff went down for a few games, or even just a game or two, is amazing. Obviously, Jared Goff goes down for the season's probably over, right? I mean, we're not going to be able to make the playoffs. Maybe we can make the playoffs, but we're not going to be able to do much with Teddy Bridgewater as our starting quarterback. But honestly, Teddy Bridgewater has shown that he's still got it in him. Obviously, he didn't play the greatest. He only had 11 passes. 5 of them were completed for 30 yards. It wasn't really like a terrific game or anything, but I did like that we signed him. So let's move off Teddy Bridgewater. Let's do some positives that came away. Let's do the positives first, and then we'll move to the negatives. So the first positive Stephen Gilmore, he ended up kind of having his breakout game. He had that interception, which really was Tracy Walker's. Tracy Walker, it almost looked like he purposely tipped it, but I think he was falling backwards and then just kind of dropped it. It's hard to tell. It almost looked like the tip drill. So I have no idea. You guys let me know what you think, but he kind of like tipped it over to Stephen Gilmore because he was running out of bounds, so he like tipped it over. Stephen Gilmore grabs it and ran it, 10, 15 yards or so. And he also just had a really nice game. He had that one play towards the beginning, like right before that interception actually. He had a nice knockdown in the end zone. He had a really good play early on, and then he also had one before where he was like perfect coverage, and then the quarterback, who was it for the Jags? I always forget his name. The backup quarterback, like Beathard or something like that, Beatard, or I have no idea. Anyway, he just dropped a dime right into one of the receivers' hands that Stephen Gilmore was on, and yeah, he just dropped it right in there, and Stephen Gilmore had perfect coverage. It was a perfect throw. So yeah, it was. I think he had a really nice game. Other than him, one thing that I also forgot to kind of mention last week, this wide receiver battle that we have going on for like that last roster spot. Obviously, while J-Mo's out, we might be able to have an extra, but someone's going to end up getting cut from this team, whether it's Dylan Drummond, whether it's Chase Cota, or even Antoine Green, who I think has probably the biggest edge right now because A, he was a draft pick, and B, he's been pretty solid and he's been developing a lot, and I think he's got the most potential out of either of those guys by far. So, yeah, when I look at that wide receiver battle, that's what I've been watching. That and Teddy Bridgewater were the two things that I was keen in on for that game, and it really didn't. The wide receiver battle really didn't, do much. I was hoping for at least, a big breakout game. Chase Cota had that touchdown. We'll talk about that as well. But, yeah, I guess we'll talk about that right now. Chase Cota, he had 2 catches for 9 yards. Okay. But he had that 1-yard touchdown catch that was our only touchdown of the game. So, he does have that edge to Dylan Drummond. Dylan Drummond had 2 catches for 28 yards. Not bad. And Antoine Green had 1 catch for 18 yards. So really just all around, like, pretty even games, obviously Cota didn't have a ton of yards, but he had 2 receptions and a touchdown. So honestly, there's the touchdown right there. Honestly, I think Cota wins that battle. Antoine Green had a nice catch for 18 yards. That's awesome to see. And then Drummond had a better game than his first game as well. So that was also nice to see. So we're going to move off that. But yeah, I thought the receivers played well. Really just not much you can really say about that. They only had like 2 catches, but we're going to move off that. We're going to go into another positive. Let's go to Jack Campbell. And I think I said in the first video against the Giants I didn't really see much of him. Well, I went back and watched the tape, and man, he was in every play. Jack Campbell. He might break like 150 tackles this year. I'm not even kidding. But he had an awesome game. I remember the Giants game. He had a couple nice stops on 3rd and short and 4th and short. Today, I would have to go back and watch his film, obviously, but he had a really nice game. I think he had like 4 or 5 tackles and like 3 assists as well. Played nice in the pass coverage as well, and that's the one thing I was really hoping Jack Campbell would be good at, is pass coverage, because we don't really have any linebackers that are able to do that. So seeing him be able to do that was really heartwarming. I was happy to see Jack Campbell doing well in the pass coverage game. That's something I really want to see him do and improve. So that was awesome. And yeah, so Jack Campbell had a really nice game. Defensively, Broderick Jones, Josh Pascal each shared a sack, which is awesome as well. James Houston, obviously, that man is just, I really hope he's what he was last year, because, man, if him and Hutch are coming off that defensive edge, John Kaminsky as well, filtering in there, Pascal filtering in there as well. Man, we're going to have some dogs on defense. But John Kaminsky, another one. He was one of the biggest ones as well. I think he had a sack as well, and then he also had a nice knockdown. That guy is just, he's always in the backfield. He reminds me a lot of Hutchinson, obviously, just not as nice looking, I guess. Not like his looks, just like his body, I guess, and the way he plays. Obviously, Hutchinson is probably going to be a top 10 player on defense this year. In my opinion, I think he's going to go for 12 to 15 sacks easily. Kaminsky, I think I'm going to call it right now. I think he gets 6 sacks this year. I think he's going to have a huge year. And just like what he did last year. He had a nice year last year as well. I forget how many sacks he had, but Kaminsky was another good positive. So I only got like 30 seconds left of the highlights. So I'm just going to go ahead and just dive right into the lowlights, basically. And number one would definitely be that backup offensive line, or the offensive line that was starting, I guess, for that game. It was bad. I mean, they were just in the backfield. We had no run game. When you have no run game, it makes it hard to move the ball. And then that also means that we didn't have a passing game because Sudfeld and Bridgewater were under pressure every single play. So it just, our offensive line was not good. I still believe in them. I think they'll make it better and stuff. So still got some faith there. And other than that, defensively, we struggled a lot. But that was also mostly because of the offense as well. I think the offense had a big part in that. So, but yeah, it was a nice game for the Jags. You know, they played well. I don't think we were ready for that, and we just didn't show up. That's all it was. Preseason, all backups playing, nothing really too major. But yeah, so that's gonna end off this video. Once again, I'm probably gonna do another one of these next week as well for the Panthers, which is coming this Friday. So I'll do another one for that. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. And thank you so much for watching this video. It really means a lot. I love seeing, my videos, you getting views and stuff. I don't even care about likes and subscribers, but thank you guys so much for all the support, especially on my last video as well. And yeah, I do appreciate it. I'll see you guys next week. And yeah, once again, go Lions, baby.